here's a question that's kind of been on my brain for a little bit of a minute. Is ecchi anime just on a decline? Because I'm not going to necessarily lie. While it will be a little too much of a stretch to say that yes, it absolutely is, because no, it's not, because there's literally ecchi anime damn near every year. So, not necessarily, but also at the same time, it does give you a sort of feel that there is, right? For basically starters, once you look at the anime from the ye olden times, I mean, you look at that stuff and you're just like, damn, those shows were kind of hidden. There was something about those shows that carry weight, that people will remember those shows for a good chunk of time. But then you kind of look at shows now and it probably doesn't carry that same weight, or every show kind of feels the same and you don't really care of how it goes, honestly. And that's also like another reason of maybe why people maybe not like ecchi shows now and probably don't really care for them. I can see a bunch of different reasons why someone could think it's on the decline, but to be honest, it's kind of been in a constant state of it's here, just not as much as the other shows are. Granted, I don't really think there was a moment in time where ecchi has always just been in your face and always been there as an option to watch. And there's a lot of options that you can throw down with and you can watch, but I don't ever think it's going to be onto a level where there's so many ecchi shows where it's equal amount to action shows or other shows of isekai genre, or maybe more fantasy shows or drama and, you know, romance or whatever, right? I feel like you won't really see a lot of those shows as much as you will when it comes to ecchi genre. Like, every other show in every other genre is got something for somebody, but ecchi shows is like for a very specific degenerate ass audience, which I can completely understand. But at the same time, it's like, still, it would be nice to have more things for that side of the spectrum, right? Now, before I made this video too, I was honestly on a belief that, yeah, ecchi kind of is on a decline, and it's not hidden as it should be. But then, I kind of remembered, and honestly kind of forgotten, that there was a ecchi anime, like, what, earlier this year? Inukai's Dog or whatever. And essentially, I was like, wait a minute, I kind of forgot that this show was a thing. People were talking about it for some reason. Now, personally, until this video, until I started recording this shit, I didn't watch that damn anime. I didn't watch it until I just started preparing to watch, you know, making this recording, honestly. And when it comes down to things, I'm like, okay, well, this is an ecchi show, right? So, if it's not having anything worth of anything, then it's kind of like a waste of time, right? And damn, did this show give you exactly what you wanted to basically see. This shit just said, oh, you wanted to see, you know, Karen just go out of her way to take a nice ass bath? We're gonna show you that shit in full detail. And matter of fact, we're gonna give you a bonus. The dog main character, he's gonna shut up for majority of that damn bath scene so you can see every bit and piece of her nipples and breasts. There you go, have fun. The show was immediately ready just to say, this is what we are, shut your ass up and enjoy the girl bathing herself. That's essentially what you gotten, honestly. So again, it's not like ecchi is on a true brutal decline. Really, ever since High School DxD and really other shows of the sort, and more so Interspecies Reviewer, I've really been kind of curious to see more ecchi shows kind of push the boundaries of what they can show, right? Like, I'm at a point where I don't want to see implied nudity in a show, or it having censor bars of light or other things of the sort where you know that they're naked and there's something crazy going on, but they're never showing any detail at all. Like, at this point, I kind of don't care to see any of that stuff, right? Even in, I think there's like another anime that's out right now, the Shut-In Vampire or something like that, Vexation of a Shut-In Vampire or whatever. That show had the damn maid in the first episode naked as hell, but no actual details of the chest area. And it's like, well, that's a bit boring, right? Like, she still looked good, but that's a bit boring. And I know not every anime wants to do that, and not every single creator wants to put that out there and whatever, because that someone might think, oh, that's the main focus. It's really not. But at the same time, it's like, once you've seen so many anime do that method of just actually showing the uncensored, uncut variation of what the character could look like underneath all that, now you're kind of just like, well, I kind of want to see more shows where that is a thing at this point, right? Instead of just seeing the implied variation of it. So now I'm kind of like, anime has set up my standard and expectations of an ecchi show to show actual nipple, right? Like, if it's not showing me that, then it's kind of like it's a bit of a waste of time, right? And it's been a thing for a while, obviously, way past High School DxD, like Ninja Scroll back in the day, honestly, and a whole bunch of other shows like Girls Bravo from back in the day. It's always been a thing in anime. It just never really been a forefront thing like it is now, where I feel like if you're gonna make an ecchi show, you have to kind of put that in. It's like it's something that people want to see at this point. I just feel like that's what it is. So not only is it like setting you up for, you know, that type of expectation, but there's also another thing that's within the ecchi genre that I don't feel like a lot of people talk about a lot. And it's also the fact that a lot, or at least a fair amount of ecchi shows, do start cutting down their time of viewership, which is also kind of annoying, right? I remember when I first seen like a 12-minute anime and was kind of just watching that shit, and I was just like, why is it 12 minutes? Right? And the first one I seen was Dagashikashi, which I know is not a real deal ecchi anime, but it does have moments like that. But still, nonetheless, it was like a 12-minute anime for the second season. And I was like, wait, why is this show 12 minutes now when back then they had a full-length episode? That doesn't make any sense to me. And it bothered me for like the longest time, right? And so as time kind of goes on, you're starting to realize, wait a minute, Inukais have a 12-minute anime. And wait, didn't Peter Grill also have a 12-minute anime? What the hell is actually going on, right? That's kind of like another thing as well. And then there was like another show, and I can't remember what it was, but basically it was some dude basically groveling and basically begging to see some titties from random people that he just meets in different episodes. And that episode was like, and that anime was like 3 minutes of an episode. Basically just straight up begging and groveling the entire time until the final reveal where you actually see some titty, which you have to kind of dig and find the damn uncensored version, and I can't even remember what the show was called, but it was so like kind of annoying, right? That these shows are like really short, and I'm like, is this part of that declining problem that potentially is out there? It may damn near could be. Like, granted, you will still have shows that can reach that full, you know, length anime like interspecies reviewer, but I don't necessarily think that helps in some shape and form when you take off like a lot of the time of the damn shows, honestly. And my biggest thing would be like, oh, alright, so you want to make a show that is like 12 minutes. I would be perfectly fine with it if there was more ecchi shows than one a year that came through that honestly showed a lot of content. Like, there's like an only 12-minute anime ecchi series, but instead of just one, you know, anime a year, you could get potentially like maybe 5 to 4 different animes within that year that shows crazy amounts of ecchi content. I would be perfectly fine with that. Though I still don't like that it's a 12-minute show, I will be perfectly fine with that because I know at least each show is going to be different, and I do at least know that they're not going to hold back on what they really want to show when it comes down to it. So that's like another thing regarding how that goes. So I don't really like the 12-minute stuff or the shortening episodes when it comes down to it. But if we were to get spammed with a lot of more ecchi shows that, you know, come out just as equally as much as isekai shows or whatever, I would be pretty okay with that. I would be pretty okay with that because it's like, well, it's less time, but hey, we get to have like more shows coming out, so more variety and more options to choose from, so that's nice, right? Because essentially, once one ecchi show come out a year, that's it for a majority of the year. Maybe you might get a second one, but I haven't ever really hardly seen a moment where you get a second ecchi show in the same damn year. So that's also like another thing too, right? Because it's just like, damn, if this show doesn't work out and hits the level I want it to hit, guess what? I have to wait a whole nother year just to watch another damn ecchi show to get my fix on. That's essentially kind of it. And then there's some shows that you just don't want to go back and watch. You want to see something new. So my point is this. Is ecchi on a decline in anime? No. But I do believe that there is some factors that is at play, and some expectations that ecchi shows now have put out there that I feel like all ecchi shows kind of needs to hit that level. Granted, again, probably won't be the case. But at the same time, it's like, well, now that I've seen the full package of everything and has been exposed to it for years at this point, I kind of want to see what else is actually out there, you know? And that's essentially kind of how I feel. And then you also got the shows with the, you know, different time cut downs and stuff like that too. And it's just like, well, it's not getting any better and it's getting less of these shows as well, potentially. That's not necessarily great. So again, if I had to complain about anything, it will be the time of the shows and the less releases of them, essentially. That's why I would say that there may be a decline or something like that. But other than that, ecchi is still fine, right? Even with the expectation that we might have on the shows now, it's still fine. Because at the end of the day, you can still see something at some point in time. So that's essentially what I wanted to rant about, essentially. So hopefully you did enjoy. Also, by the way, on Patreon, if you follow me there, I will be setting up a Kakatsu commission thing, which will be the baseline $20 for a you know, sets of whatever you want to do. And essentially, so we'll go from there if you're just interested. So please follow me on Patreon when it comes down to things, because yes. And also, you do have this channel that you just keep in contact with or whatever, so subscribe and, you know, like the video as well with all that other stuff. And yeah, also let me know what other ecchi anime is out there that I have not heard of or seen, because I've seen quite a lot of them and I've heard of quite a lot of them, because and there's some of them I've heard of, but I just never really sat down and watched, honestly, and I don't think I'm gonna do that anytime soon. But let me know as I kind of, I guess, clear out Inukai's isekai anime. So let me know again what other ecchi shows is out there, because I'm very curious to know, because there's not really anything I can think of out there at the moment, at least, right? Also, when I was looking at Inukai's meaning of the name, it actually means dog, and also kai means like domestic or raised. So the girl's name is Karen, the domesticated dog. Strange. Anyway, that's it for this one though, so hopefully you did enjoy, and until then, it's your boy Jay, signing off. Have a blessed day.